Okay, students, we're going to talk about what to do this week. This week we'll be focusing on our rhetorical analysis. So last week, well, we don't need to talk about last week. It'll be similar to last week, though. You'll have a teacher video to watch here to just refresh your memory about rhetoric and start thinking about how we're going to talk about it for the paper. So you'll need to watch that. This fallacies in commercial video, it's pretty short. It's just somebody watching kind of short snippets of a few commercials, and then talking about some logical fallacies that are in them. And I just include it here to just kind of refresh your memory on logical fallacies, but also to show you an example of how you can start to look at an argument and pick apart you don't want to be just like negative, but try to see the ways where they fall short and where that argument doesn't quite meet up. So this isn't a good example of that. Now this paper will need to be written in APA format. I have a video here that I recorded on how to do that. I just realized I didn't include these, but I will include some links in here as well. I know for sure I'll have a website that takes you through the different things you need to do. I do them all in the video, but just sometimes it's helpful to have a written source as well. And then I'll include an example of an APA formatted paper as well. So look for those those should be up in I'll probably go do that after this, but that's all just to help you know what format to write it in. So the first paper was MLA format. This paper will be APA format. Okay, and then I include a video here. This is just to refresh your memory on how to quote, paraphrase, and summarize in your paper, because if you're talking about somebody else's works, which you have to in rhetorical analysis, you need to make sure that you're appropriately giving credit to who said what. So that's just a reminder. And then this gets into getting ready for the paper. So discussion posts, as I hope you saw in the first week, they're meant to help you start thinking through the paper in sort of a low stakes way, and also interact with your peers and how they're thinking through it. I think that helps everyone to kind of gain a greater understanding together. So I'm doing this thing, I think I did... I did this in the guided notes, where I'm giving you some sentences just to start your ideas, and I'm asking you to complete them. If that is too structured for you, I would be fine if you just touch on all these points instead. So if you don't want to say exactly, in the last 2 weeks I was influenced by, a movie ad, a movie trailer to watch a movie. That would be, an example of how you could finish that. You could just say, you could just talk about being influenced recently by something. So just in your own words kind of thing. But the idea is to touch on all of these points in your post. And then just like you did for your introduction post, I want you to go back and respond to your peers. I will give you Friday to get the initial post in, and then I'll give you Saturday to respond to your peers. And that will just be evaluate how you think you would have reacted and how that differs to the person who made the initial post, and whether or not you think that company was effective. Your adding ideas to that is going to help your peer be able to think through that from a different perspective. So so that should be what I see in there. If it's just, here it is. I was trying to remember how many peers. I just want you to do that to one of your peers, but do turn on notifications, because sometimes it can, it doesn't sometimes. It helps to have a back and forth idea going on. So if you say, hey, this is what I see, your peer might have a question about that, and I'd like there to be, to be aware of that so you can respond to their questions too. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is do an outline for this. The first week I just gave you an example of an outline and it wasn't graded. This week I want you to actually create an outline. And like the first, or this discussion post, I've created kind of sentence starters. Same thing here. If you don't want to fill in the sentence, you can also just create an outline and touch on all of these different topics here. I also have a Google Doc that you can download and fill in this blanks there. Yeah, I should be able to make a Google Doc for this one too, so I'll go and do that too. Okay, so that is all leading you up to the rhetorical analysis paper. You should have written a rhetorical analysis in 1301. In 1302, you also write a rhetorical analysis, and this is just you looking at somebody who's trying to persuade you to do something. So I'm asking you to think about someone who is persuading you to make some kind of decision. Now, that can be up to your interpretation of what that decision is. I have some examples here that you could pick from, though you don't have to pick these. So this first one, for example, the optimal morning routine, the decision that he's trying to get you to make is to do some specific steps to get up and feel more awake in the morning. So that's the kind of idea that you're looking at. This one, you know, the specific decision is to stretch more when you're exercising. So just look at what is the decision they're trying to get you to create, and then touch on these different things: the audience, the purpose, the context in which it's created, the strengths and weaknesses, and of course, how they're using ethos, pathos, and logos. And I should see all of those specifically touched on in there. And like the other paper, there will be a rubric attached. And like this paper, it will be due the following Monday. This one I do have a word count on, so that's 1,000 words. And I do ask for a reference page because that's part of knowing if you can do the APA format, and also you always have a reference page when you cite from another source. So, all right, that's it. That's kind of the paper. That's the week. A lot of this is just leading up to the, writing the paper. So that's what the learning resources are for, to help you write a good paper and consider how you are influenced to make good decisions, and how those arguments hold up for you personally. Let me know if you have any questions.